So according to the esoteric teachings, there are numbers, different levels of soul awareness, different levels of soul, S-O-U-L, awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And the soul, we call the soul the true healer of the form, the true healer of the form. It's the transformer, or it's the intermediary. It's the go-between, and it is a spark of the divine. It's our true essence of who we are. It's our own personal inner guide. And there's different levels of the soul. We depict it as a triangle, although it's not a triangle, it's like a flower. But the aspects of the soul are higher mind, or intelligence, or illumination. So higher mind, intelligence, or illumination is all the same. Love or compassion is also called intuition. And then will and power is the will of the soul. So it's higher mind, intuition, and will of the soul. Those are all characteristics of the soul. And there's different levels of soul development, different levels of soul development. So the first one is the soul is there, but the person has no awareness of the soul. The person has no awareness of the soul. And this is what we would call average humanity. They live in the here and the now. This is where the soul hangs out and waits for the personality to look up. The soul hangs out and waits for the personality to look up. This person is completely closed off to soul energy. Completely closed off to soul energy. They live in the third dimension. They live in emotional reaction. They feel that you let life happen to you and knock you around. There's no uplifting of the eyes at all. No uplifting of the eyes at all. These people can be victims. They have no perception of control. They can be helpless. They may say things like, "Guess what happened to me now? You're not going to believe it." Or so-and-so did this to me. Or I can't believe this keeps happening to me. Life for them can be about manipulation for material well-being. The second level of soul development is about this person may have some discipline in their life. They have developed some power in their life. They may say things like, "I can make life happen." This person may have a lot of assets, but they're still not happy. They may be disciplined, but they have no idea of a higher self. This person has learned control of their emotions. They have a more integrated personality, but they're still not connected to source energy. So the thread of the soul connection is still very small. It's still very small. The third level of soul awareness is when it gets really interesting. And this is when we become more open to soul awareness, The person is listening, but not always following the soul's guidance. They're listening, but not always following the soul's guidance. And you begin to have soul, S-O-U-L, arguments. Soul, S-O-U-L, arguments. So very, very simply, you might get a message, take your umbrella. And you say, no, I'm too busy. Take your umbrella. No, I'm too busy. And then it rains. This happened to a friend of mine. Or you get a message, it's time to leave your apartment. It's time to move on. And you say, no, I'm too scared. Then someone turns you onto a great apartment and you say, no, I'm not moving. And you keep getting the message, it's time to leave your apartment. And you keep saying no, and then you get an eviction notice. It actually happened to a friend of mine.
Interesting.
So this is the stage where you need to start taking risks. You need to start taking leaps of faith, F-A-I-T-H. At this stage, the soul can get bored with you. It says, if you're not going to listen to me, okay, boom, suffer. You lose the apartment or you get rained on. And people ask me this question all the time. How do you know the difference between personality or ego and the soul? The soul has no fear. The soul has no fear. No fear. It's kind. It's gentle. It's loving. It's encouraging. It's nurturing. It's non-judgmental. It's loving. It's compassionate. Those are all higher vibrations. So at this stage, the goal is to learn how to eventually trust in the soul's guidance. Trust in the soul's guidance. And this can take a while to develop. And usually if you ask, like I always tell people to align and attune with their soul and their monad and then ask the question. And then listen to what happens next. I told that to somebody today. They asked me a question about medication. And after I aligned and attuned with them, I just heard very gently, the less medicine, the better. Just so it's kind, loving, non-judgmental, nurturing. The less medicine, the better. And that's how I really work to live my life, to be soul infused. The next level is when the personality is completely infused with the soul. These people are spiritually directed and trust. They shine their light wherever they are, whether they're in politics, an administrator, in business, a homemaker. They're just a joy to be around, a joy to be around. If the soul says go to India, they go. An example of this would be the Peace Pilgrim. She trusted she would be taken care of on her journey. Or Mother Teresa would say, oh, I have to go into this country. And people would say, oh, no, Mother Teresa, you can't do that. There's a war going on. And she's like, no, but I promised God that I would go. And they were like, no, you don't understand, Mother Teresa, you can't do that. There's a war going on. And she'd be like, no, you don't understand. I promised God that I would go. So what would happen? The war would stop. Mother Teresa would go in, do what she needed to do, come out, and the world would start again. Yeah. When I opened my office when I moved back to New York, I was walking up and down the street, and I heard this message, "Open your office here." And I was like, okay. I didn't say no, but you don't understand. I don't have any clients. How am I going to get my business up and going? I didn't have any of those excuses. It was just like, open your office here. I'm like, okay, and I did.
Cool.
Yeah, I didn't have any clients for like 2 months, but I'm still here 8 years later.
Yeah.
You
That
know,
was as you were walking up this street.
I was walking up this street.
That's great.
There was a sign outside that said, "Office for rent." And I heard, "Open up your office here." I'm like, oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The last stage of soul development is called the fully self-realized human. And this is when the monadic plane is completely infused with the soul and the personality. So the monad is running the show. And now people can choose to stay or leave the planet. Before it was like time to go, but now people stay to help other people. And they don't necessarily have to have a large following of people. They're just pure beacons of light. Pure beacons of light. And everyone on the planet fits into these stages of development. And as you're going through these stages, there can be periods of discomfort. But they might help you ask the questions, who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? And where am I going? Who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? And where am I going? These questions will help us become more soul aware, more soul aware. So there's different ways that we can connect to our soul. And when we connect to our soul and we connect to our monad, we call it building the rainbow bridge or the Antakarana. Building the rainbow bridge or the Antakarana. So you want to build the first bridge first to the soul. And one of the ways to do this bridge, to build this bridge, is through service. Through service. And service can begin with us. We don't have to go out and do volunteer work. We can answer the phone politely. We can say hi to your doorman if you have one, or the porter. You can get to know the names of the people that you come into contact with regularly, the dry cleaner, the bagel person, the bank teller. You can hold a door for someone. You can yield in traffic and let somebody pass versus cutting them off. Active listening is a form of service, listening without interrupting or having the TV on. Allowing someone to cry, that's a great service. Saying thank you. Waiting on a long checkout line without an attitude. And I remember when I was working in New York City, it was one of those hot, sweltery days that you could see the air.
Sure.
And we got on the elevator, and this guy, and it was horrible out. And this guy, I said, wow, it's a hot day, right? And this guy says, you know what? I waited all winter long for this day. Oh, we all cracked up. That was an act of service.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I still remember that. The other way to build your connection to the soul is from meditation. And the purpose of meditation is to quiet the mind so we can hear that inner voice. And meditation can be a walk on the beach, or in the woods, or in a park without your headphones on, or a more formal sitting or standing meditation. The more we meditate, the more our sensitivity is increased. The more we learn to trust our inner direction and the direction of the soul, the guidance that comes from the soul. The soul will never never put you in the wrong direction. The soul has your highest and best good. The third way to build the connection to the soul, and we kind of think of this as a three-legged stool: service, study, and meditation, is study. And what we think about on a daily basis influences our lives. The soul seeds our subconscious mind. The most important thing to remember is that energy follows thought. Energy follows thought. So read spiritual books, listen to tapes, anything to stimulate your own devotion for your own path. Choose your own way to study. Honor your own perspective, whatever speaks to you. We are all on a spiritual path. I will tell you, the more you build this bridge, the more service you get to do for humanity. You don't just get to take care of yourself, you get to take care of others.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing this study group for a really long time. And I have this really great quote that I'd like to finish with.
Mm-hmm.
It's from Gary Zukav's book, The Seat of the Soul. Mm-hmm. And it says, quote, "Every experience that you have and will have upon earth encourages the alignment of your personality with your higher self. Every circumstance and situation gives you the opportunity to choose this path, to allow your higher self to shine through you, to bring into the physical world through you its unending and unfathomable reverence for and the love of life." Gary Zukav, The Seat of the Soul.